Holdouts. I suppose there aren't many people like me left. I'm a journalist. Not the sell the papers kind, but the investigative kind. There just isn't a need for many of us. Our government is so perfectly aligned with our values, and so bereft of corruption, that those who use to ferret out sickness and waste simply aren't needed. But there is a need for some of us. It has been determined that exactly 30 are needed. And so 30 of us have been commissioned by the government to inform the public and to serve as a mouthpiece for the valuers. If we do our job well, and we do, the will of the voters will be perfectly in line with the decisions of the valuers. And nothing could be more important. As you know, just a month ago, one of our number passed away. Edward Marks. He spent the last 20 of his remarkable 82 years trying to convince you to join the rest of our great country. Of course, Mr. Marks had to be replaced, and so a nationwide search was launched by the mines, and they found me. They believed that I'd be particularly strong at speaking to you, the holdouts who refuse the wonderful benefits of our way of life. And they believe bringing you into the fold is crucial to the realization of our values. Of course, they are correct. And so, at the age of 35, I have been made the newest of the interviewers. With that introduction, I want to lay out my case. First, we have so many things in common. We both have minds, computers crafted in the 25-year-old vision of IBM's Deep Blue. Our minds, like yours, are capable of making judgments and decisions and working with unknowns better than all the very best of humans. They do our work, and not just manufacturing and computational work like the computers of old, but design, decision-making, and business-starting work. Because of their intelligence, they have ushered in an unprecedented era of wealth in human history. And, like you, we have robots. They do the manual labor. They aren't stupid, per se, but they make simpler decisions. For example, the fastest way to cut from place A to place B. And they execute on those decisions. Of course, none of us work. We don't need to. Our work is done and our goods supplied, and our lives are lived in leisure and free of any risk except for those the minds cannot imagine. The pillars of our societies seem so similar. But as you know, those pillars are not the same, and the reasons are simple. Where we have order, you have chaos. We have valuers, those who weigh the values the minds seek to uphold. Life is full of trade-offs. Risk versus reward, longevity versus happiness, the salvation of the few or the joy of many, resources for the disabled or greater prosperity for all, the environment or more children, irrational religious buildings or mind-training universities, healthcare for the elderly or greater opportunities for those with more life ahead of them. Our valuers, the 100, navigate these shoals for us. They choose the values that represent our society, and they program the minds concerning those values and those trade-offs, so that the activities of the minds maximize the values we have chosen. And the valuers in turn are chosen by the voters, every sane adult in society. And finally, they are observed, watched, and interrogated by us, the interviewers. It is a wondrous circle of values and intelligence. Voters, informed by interviewers, choose valuers who program minds who make robots produce. No work for humans, few risks, great wealth, and a unified vision of the good. But you do not adhere to this model. Your minds are employed by individuals. Instead of 100 valuers deciding in unison, you have 7 million acting independently. 7 million people, the vast majority of whom lack the tools to make decent decisions, and yet each has his own mind and his own robots and his own values. And before you accuse us of stifling debate, consider that we enable and encourage discussion and argument. It is in action, the building of buildings, the creation of software, the production of entertainment, that we require harmony. We have a marketplace of ideas, but a unity of action. Our valuers come, by law, from every demographic. Every race and sex is represented. We have diversity, but we unite in action. Contrast that with your society. You set the bounds of the acceptable for your minds. No murder, no theft, no fraud. And then you let them conflict. Your minds wrestle like they are combatants in a cage fight, where there could instead be an orchestra. It is immoral. Now, our minds have identified that our own values are threatened by your recalcitrance. You build pointless churches, wasting the earth's resources. You give to the poor, but allow inequity. You spend for miracles for the ill, instead of simply letting them die. Perhaps most threatening, our voters are leaving our country for yours. So while we value peace, we also watch the confusion of values produced by your society. And we are afraid it will infect us. We are afraid our orchestra will be destroyed. And so, I'm sending you a proposition. Join us. Join the greatness of our unified values and our great minds, and ensure a life free from misplaced priorities. Or resist us and find your people forced into the goodness of our fold. Our minds have come to realize that the benefits of your compliance now outweigh the costs of war. A war, I should note, that we will win. Harmony and peace and unity demand that we progress. So, join us freely or face overwhelming force. No other options remain. With care, your interview.